Man, what a workout. Whew. Feeling that deep stretch in the quads. After 5 sets of 44-pound kettlebells, one in each arm, getting low, getting ass to grass, seeing the bright, brilliant energy of Yahusha as I'm connecting deep in satellite, deep in transmission, deep in signal, feeling his love, his healing energy as I build the temple rock solid, being out here in the crisp, clean, and very quiet outdoors on a beautiful vitamin D filled snowy day. The snow seems to have stopped, just a light dusting of snow, but it's crisp, it's clean, it's cool, and it's quiet. And you can really, really get deep into that zone, into that flow state, into that connection, which again is why I do these workouts. I do it in reverence to Yahuwah, Yahusha, who gave us this temple to house the breath of Yahuwah, the set apart spirit, the breath of life, to connect with him in those deep moments of peace and solace where you're in flow state. To feel strong, to feel healthy, to feel vibrant and robust, and put out a positive message of what training the temple can do for you and for your people as you spread the message of his temple, of his healing love, of his healing energy. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and the host of the podcast was talking about how this year, 2025, what you want to do is go into 2025 and you want to fire, as he put it, you want to fire 50%, I think that was the number, 50% of your friends and your acquaintances. Basically shedding all of the weight, the negative weight of the detractors and the downers and the bad influences from your life. And it made me think about how Jack Welch, very famous CEO in the 80s, he rose to prominence in the 80s, he wrote a bunch of books. He was the CEO of GE. He turned GE around. And one of his mantras was that, or one of his leadership principles was that at the end of every year, he fired the bottom 10% of his company. The bottom 10% of performers every year got weeded out of his company. And what that did is, obviously, over the years and over over a decade, you end up with a lot of top players in your organization. And it also gets me thinking about this idea of subtraction and how people use subtraction in order to get to the place that they're going. If you look at getting in shape, getting the temple strong, getting the temple healthy, a lot of people will promote the idea that it's what you remove from your life that gets you strong and healthy and improves you physically as well as psychologically and spiritually and character-wise, the 4 pillars that I believe make up a vibrant, profound, strong, productive, prosperous, connected lifestyle. The 4 pillars being the mindset, the temple, your character, and most importantly, your spirit, your spiritual self, your soul. Those are the 4 pillars. And a lot of people preach it's what you take away or remove from your life that gets you closer to being as strong and as healthy and as empowered as possible. So again, if we're talking about getting in shape and people look at diet, people look at what do I remove from my diet. It's a process of elimination, eliminating all of the bad foods that one eats, all of the junk, all of the poisons, all of the toxins, to get to a place where you're only eating the best foods, you're only eating the cleanest foods, you're only eating foods that support you and keep you healthy, keep you vibrant and robust. But I view things differently. I don't view things as a game of subtraction. I view things as a game of addition. For me, it's all about what can I add to my life? Because I believe that in adding the right people, adding the right relationships, adding the right colleagues, adding the right foods, adding the right training, adding the right reading, adding the right resources to your life will crowd out all the worst elements. So if we're talking about diet, for me it's all about, I will add so much of the energy producing, robust producing, dynamic producing, healthy vibration producing, strength producing foods such that there'll be no room for the junk. I've also come to a place where psychologically, mentally, mindset-wise, I abhor poisons. I don't want poisons in my body. I don't want anything in my body that doesn't add. I don't want anything in my body that subtracts from my health. I only, again, this perspective of addition. And so, I challenge you. If you're living on a junk food diet, or if you find yourself indulging in too much junk, here's something simple, and you could do this any way you choose, but eat. So here's what I would do. In a day, eat as much lean steak, rice, and fruit as you can. Eat as much of it as you can until you can't eat any more of it. And then see if you have any room for pizza and ice cream. Because when I walk away from whatever meal I'm eating, I'm not hungry. In fact, I have no appetite left, because I am ensuring that I'm packing the temple with as much vibrant health and strength producing food as I possibly can. Why? Because I honor and revere Yahuwah Yahusha, and I take the temple seriously, the creation that he gave us seriously, such that I don't want to dishonor this blessing that he gave us, the blessing that houses his breath, the Ruach, the set apart spirit. And so, for me, that perspective is a game changer. And you might say, well, it's really the same thing, right? We're really talking about the same thing. One way or another, you're removing the worst elements of your diet from your program. We're really talking the same thing. And in many ways we are. It's just a perspective shift. And I think perspective is everything. Mindset is everything. So you really have to have the right viewpoint in order to follow through on a lot of the self-improvement that you want to make. It's really all about perspective. And so for me, that perspective of addition and adding things to your lifestyle, right? That perspective of building instead of deconstructing, of creating instead of tearing apart. For me, that's what it's all about. For me, it's all about ensuring that I can erect the lifestyle, the character, the mindset, and the soul that's going to allow me to love Yahuwah with all my heart, soul, mind, and spirit, and to love my fellow man as I love myself. And so that perspective makes it possible. Who wants to be about the negative, negating, subtracting, removing? For me, it's all about building, creating, and adding the vibrant, healthy, robust nature of all of the elements that are going to make us great, that are going to make us strong, that are going to make us honorable, that are going to make us empowered so that we're motivated and inspired. People get demotivated when you take things away, when you remove things, when you tell them they can't have. And again, it's a mindset thing, but that view that you take is everything. What you see is everything. And so if what you see is abundance, if what you see is design and creation, if what you see is multiplication, you're going to be empowered, you're going to be energized. It's not about removing evil from your life and sin from your life. You're an imperfect being. You're never going to be able to remove all evil and all sin from your life. But what you can do is you can add Yahuwah, Yahusha to your life. You could ask him to fill you with his healing love, healing joy, healing energy, healing peace, and everlasting life. You could ask him to save you and fill you and baptize you with the Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah, which heals your heart, and fire, which absolutely destroys all of the poisons and toxins and negativity in your body by filling you with his light, so that everything else, all of the wayward frequencies and negative thoughts and bad energy, is crowded out of your soul, crowded out of your heart, and all that's left is his light, a light which the darkness cannot comprehend, a light which the darkness cannot fathom, and a light which the darkness cannot overcome. You want to be overflowing, and that's what happens when you are filled with the set-apart spirit, with the Ruach HaKodesh, the spirit that lives within this temple that you revere Yahuwah Yahusha with. Your cup overflows. That's how Yahusha, the Son of the Most High, Hamashiach, the Messiah, Yah, the Most High, Shah, who saves, Yahusha. He talks about that. He talks about when you receive the Spirit, you receive all things, more than you could ever have imagined, such that your cup overflows. And you get to a place where you have to share, where you have to pay it forward. You get to a place where you're compelled to share the good news, because you have so much of it, and you want others, you want all of his children and lost sheep to feel what you feel. It's all about that perspective. It's all about that viewpoint. It's all about addition, not subtraction.